Welcome to the session 27 of Davos Experience in Tokyo. My name is Yoko Ishikura. I've been hosting this series over the past 2 years, and this is the 27th session. And I do appreciate very much that you come today on Friday evening when it's pouring rain outside. And I hope that we'll have a lot of fun. And today we will have Dai Fujikura, whom I introduce later on. But for how many of you, this is the first time? Okay. Always, we have quite a few first-timers. And I know there's some familiar faces as well. So I hope that we will have a lot of fun. Let me explain a little bit about how we proceed today, because it's a little bit different from usual. What we're going to do is that Dai and I will have a sort of a talk show kind of thing here, and then we will have two musicians playing his music. And because I met Dai last year when we invited him to Global Agenda Seminar Series at the Roppongi Hills. And that's a separate series that I do host as well. And since we had so much fun there, and I knew that his piece is going to be performed in Japan, and he'll be coming to Japan. So I asked him whether he could come to this one. So that was all set. And then, since we have musicians, why not have live music? That was the idea. And I always sort of, whenever I have an idea, I usually try whether it works or not. and that was a pretty big, sort of ambitious plan. But I contacted the music staff or music manager and said, would it be possible? Because after all, music is such a beauty, but you really would like to feel it yourself. So we're very happy to have two performing musicians playing. And so I'll have Dai and our talk show first, and then we'll have two pieces played by the other two musicians, Dai's pieces. And then we would like you to think about how to promote this type of music. Because contemporary music, the type of, you will see. And by the way, has anyone gone to a concert at Bear City? This last, oh, okay, great. Tell me how was it?
It was great because I love opera.
Okay.
I
You
love
liked it?
opera.
Okay.
I enjoyed all the music, including, of course, Beethoven's First and the Requiem.
Oh, okay. That was the two pieces that Dai composed. Okay, that's great. And so I thought that it would be better, but not too many people, as you see. Just 3 of you have been to the concert. So for those of you who have not really listened to the contemporary music, I would like you to think about how we can make this type of music accessible to many people. And in order to do that, we have to promote. We have to make sure that they know what they're missing and how great it is. And that's what we would like you to think about in small groups after you hear Dai and I talk and the performance, because you can get an idea. And then you can figure out how to do it. And we want as many interesting and great, crazy ideas as possible so that we can try. And I think that's part of the reason why Dai is here, spending his time, so that we know how we can tell them, we can share with them how we can promote. And so that will be your task, your mission today. Okay? So you can't just sit back and listen. You have to sort of get engaged and come up with some good ideas. Okay, if Dai come over. We're just talking here, and first of all, let me tell us a little bit about how you started in the first place.
Well, the composition. Well, I was like any other kid in Osaka. Very normal school, nothing about private school or anything like that. And this quickly go through this part. My dad was playing the piano for fun and so on, so I naturally wanted to play music and so on when I was like 5. It's normal. And then I had a piano teacher and so on, so on, so on. And then when I was like 8 or 9, I must say that this was in Japan. So Japan, I was born in 1977, so in the early 80s. But I had a very good, but very strict Japanese-style piano teacher. Very strict. That is, you can't do that anywhere in the world that way of teaching today. But anyway, she was very good, and I was very bad. Very bad. As in how bad it is. There was a music composed by the master of classical music, like Beethoven, Mozart, and so on. We all know they are great. But at the same time, we all know it's great. But at the same time, when I was 8, I want to skip this part, or I want to cut this part, or I want to change this part. I mean, how dare I to do this? But I'm only in my living room in a tiny little flat in Japan, in Osaka, and then just wanted to play around as an 8-year-old kid. And then I got told off by a very strict piano teacher. And I got quite upset, but I did not want to change my way, as usual. And I decided if I compose my own music, I can do whatever I like. So that's how I started composing music when I was 8. But my initial reaction was not playing around and then that's it. That's usually all kids do, anyone do. If you go to any primary school class or anything, you give them some kind of task, let's say, do this and they bang. That's it, that's nice. But then again, for me it was not like that. I just wanted to write it down. The music I wanted to do, I even revised and I crossed something and so on. And I was really writing. I mean, stupid music. I mean, hardly Mozart, because Mozart was writing really big things when he was like 8 or even earlier. But nothing like that. I was just writing down what I wanted to hear on my piano first. And then my mother thought I was just avoiding practicing the piano, which was true. I mean, why do I want to practice music? Why do I want to play music what I've been told what to do? If I can do what I want to do, so that's much better. For me it was, but not many people thought it was good.
I think that's very typical Japanese sort of lessons. Whenever you try to pick up some new skills or whatever, just kind of know this is the way to go, nothing else. And that really discourages a lot of people, I think. I mean, in fact, I was talking to this editor of a magazine. So, well, my advice is that don't go to the Japanese teacher because you're going to get discouraged. I mean, that's very true if you want to learn something new. And the other non-Japanese people tend to try to make sure that you enjoy the beginning rather than discourage you. So, but anyway.
Well, I mean, I know it's a little bit derailed, but if I may speak about this. I'm also running now, I mean, in fact, I'm going tomorrow. I have a little composition workshop for children in Fukushima. And it's really great fun. I go when I come to visit Japan. And then, of course, that's the class, El Sistema Japan, which is, okay, that's one of the thing. And then, so there's a kid, age between 5 to high school kids, which I was told just a high school kid. I mean, here comes at 5 and 7 and 8. They can read music already, and then they want to know what's the composing music is like. And anyway, I called there, and then there was of course, the school teacher, the class teacher of this Fukushima. And I mean, my rule in this class is that the adults should never interfere kids' composition. They don't have to compose music if they don't want to, but there's nothing they have to do. There's so much things you have to do in life, and one thing you don't have to do should be a composer. You don't want to do it. But I mean, so please, I work really hard to these local teachers who are very good and very nice. Because they want to help kids, of course, a good teacher. But I told them, please don't help. You stand there, and there's some kids. telling me that I deal, it's funny, it's a very serious, really seriously, 10-year-old girl, she asked me, is there time even, is there time that after 20 minutes, she says, is there time that there's no instrument I can't run? I said, well, I mean, professional composers, except Mozart, let's say, but he lives very short time. So many people, I mean, they couldn't write for like a month. It's normal. I mean, so the knowledge doesn't write for a year, and then it's absolutely normal. And then a few years later, I looked at she's really writing. So I wanted to make sure the kids will take their initiative and what they want to do. But Japanese kids, the problem with the Japanese kids is they're very polite and they're very well brought up. So the teacher can still say things, and then they will just nod and they will do it. I think for me, unless if somebody told me when I was a child, but not every kids are difficult like I have been. So I think that's a little problem. So therefore, I want to make sure that no adults should give their stupid ideas. It's not that interesting. The kids are interesting. So immediately the kids will tell you, she writes whatever, line or something, and I say, oh, does that mean from here to here? And immediately she say, no, it's from here to here. So that's her decision, not mine. So that was anyway, so that's
Yeah, well, there are just lots and lots of suggestions for the not only school teachers but parents and Minister of Education probably. But I think that's very true. So tell us a little bit about you went to London.
Yes, well, I went to England. I went to the high school in Dover, and that's when I was 15 years old. I went to England when I was 15 years old alone, because my parents never left Japan. And then I was in high school, because high school was doing the music. But a normal high school, but with a little strong music department. And then that school had I had a music scholarship from the school. But that was quite interesting. I don't know the other countries, but I got there, and then headmaster, by that time I didn't speak any English. Not at all. And then a head teacher of that high school told me that you need to play the piano or whatever in these concerts. I mean, those concerts were school concerts, and most of them, or the others, were fundraising concerts.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and then
Because you get scholarships.
Because it's 15-year-old to a kid that, oh, no, we are paying you, so you're going to do the work. That was, I mean, to me, it was quite nice. I mean, wow, this is really nice and dry.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, for me, it was quite good. I was pleased that he didn't come up with some kind of, I mean, bullshit. Blah, blah, blah. That was we're paying you, okay.
That's
So,
great business.
yeah, that was quite nice. So I was doing that, and then for the music college, then I went to London. Since then, I live in London.
Tell us a little bit about your recent activities.
Yes, this year I have premiered. I premiered. My opera, my first opera called Solaris, which is quite known because of the Tarkovsky's movie Solaris. Then the George Clooney version. But I must say that my opera is based on the book, not the movies of that in Canada. So that's that. And then the opera was premiered in Champs-Élysées in Paris, Theatre Champs-Élysées, and then Lille in France, and then Lausanne in Switzerland. It was 3 co-productions. And the theatre in Champs-Élysées is very famous because it was in 1913. Well, it was quite interesting. That theatre is very famous for us because the very famous composer Stravinsky, who wrote Rise of Spring. Rise of Spring for us, I mean for us, but for all of us, we can see why later, that it changed how the music should be in 1913. And it's a bit like Picasso's work, like it's just changed. You can talk about music which was before Rise of Spring and after. That's 1930. But the funny thing is that this ballet, it's ballet, 1913, this Rise of Spring was premiered in this theatre, Theatre Champs-Élysées, and apparently it was just played a few months after its opening of the theater. And it's very famous that it was a completely disaster because the audience couldn't take this. What is this? What's going on here? No, we don't understand anything. And then they stood up and they stormed out, and it was a big riot. And as far as I know, that half of them are left, all of them are left before the second half started or something. It was an absolute disaster. So that made it very famous. That piece very famous. And a year later, the piece was performed again in Paris, and it was a big success. Some says that's because of the choreography was too ugly or whatever. Not music, or maybe I have a feeling even then the music was very, must be very shocking. I mean, maybe new, very very new. I mean, because normally the music at that time, let's generalize, but the music at that time was once you start music and that it goes. Classical music, if you start in 4/4 means like 4 beats in a bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the next bar is 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, so on. It's normal. And then the second movement is in 3 beats, so on, so on, so on. But in Rise of Strength, it's only because it's a ballet, so there's a scene by scene, so which is okay, yes, there, the scene, that scene, so on. But then the music was the Stravinsky chose to, apparently Stravinsky wasn't as a person, but he chose to go quite barbaric. The music is really barbaric. And the very famous moment of the second movement is a sort of polychords, meaning the 2 chords, each chords are quite nice, but they are crashes.
Oh, I see.
So let's say ugly, let's say, and that's being repeated. And that whole moment is a very, very famous moment. And also another factor is that the rhythms and the time signatures. As I said, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, normally like this, but it's absolutely irregular. So you really don't know. You can't just let's say you can't just cut your feet on the ball. Now we can, because we know that it's since 1930. That's over 100 years ago. And now this piece was played absolutely everywhere. And then a little bit later, it was used in Fantasia, in the Disney movie, and so on. And for example, if you look at any action movie today, but even then, all action movie like Jurassic Park or any of these things, I mean, those music chasing sequences would never be possible to write that without orchestra. Just even the rhythm part is just not. I'm sure even the composer John Williams would agree. I'm sure.
Okay. Tell us a little bit more about the Infinite Strings.
Oh yeah, sorry, yes. So anyway, so that was the opera done in that theater. Luckily or unluckily, there's no riot. I mean, it's okay. It was good. And then anyway, so and then this month I was in New York because I wrote a piece for New York Philharmonic, and then it was again, it's a piece for string orchestra for New York Philharmonic, and co-commissioned by the same orchestra, New York Philharmonic, and NHK Symphony, and then Ensemble Resonance. This is kind of now is the trend of, if I may call sort of business model. But because I think not many music orchestras or festivals have enough money to commission one piece and then that's it. And they share fees, and then, but the composer writes one piece, which is quite nice. And that is quite good because it avoids the the usual fashion that the contemporary music is played once and that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, for us it's quite important for us to get commissions, but also get repeated performances by different orchestra, different performances, and so on. And so therefore it's quite lucky that I got 3 orchestras, major orchestras, to commission this work. And then New York Philharmonic did the world premiere beginning of June, and then last week. In Tokyo, NHK Symphony premiered this week. Premiered this same music in Tokyo, and then it will be on TV next month or something, and then so on.
I think we could go on and on and on, but what about, we'll listen to the music that he composed, and then we would like you to break out into the small groups and figure out how we can make these music much more accessible. I mean, one idea, I think, about the business model is that to have like 3 different organizations commission one piece so that they can play at different places, they split the fees and so forth. But you can think of several other ideas to make it much more accessible to the regular people. But just to make sure that we know what we're talking about, let's ask the musicians to play.
I mean, while he's getting ready, yeah, he's getting ready. I think usually before if I may say so, why do we do this kind of music? I mean, can't we just do a normal music everybody loves and so on? I mean, you have to understand that as a composer, if I to write music for sad scene or if it's film music, I don't need to be sad to write sad music. I can just write because that's what I do. But for contemporary music, is that you write music hoping that the music can be for future. So for example, the Rise of Spring, as I told you, I only say this because we just spoke about, it was premiered in 1913, it was unaccepted and so on and so on, so on. But I mean, 50 years later, 60 years later, and 100 years later, now it's being performed absolutely everywhere. Absolutely no problem. People are cheering after that and so on, and it makes a difference. And also, if you look at the commercial music today, the music which is made to make money, pop music and so on, which is fine. What's on the labels, commercial music, they make money, that's good. But they are, the kind of music language they are using right now, it's about 100 years old. But the 19th century or late 19th century, maybe the beginning of 20th century, that kind of things. And then so you can see that unfortunately it's not immediate income and profit, but it's feeding something. For example, as I always say, that this whiskey is 25 years old. Okay, he's only 25 years old. Well, not that I can understand, but somebody has to make 25 years ago this, otherwise you will not be able to drink. So that's something, I mean, as a contemporary music composer, I would like to try. Something new for the possibly in future, rather than what's immediate reaction. How much you would love to audience and so on, you know. How do you case?
So probably 50 years later, we will hear somebody talking about infinite strings, which is played in Tokyo as well as in New York, has made the whole music different.
I don't know about that.
And before and after, kind of. I think that's the kind of thing that we just wanted to.
We try.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the first piece you're going to hear now, I think it's called, it's 1 minute long, so you don't even have time to make a riot. It's called Rubicon, and it was a strange request of my friend of mine from New York. He asked me. It's called New York Miniature Ensemble, and they only play music which has less than 100 notes, 100 notes. That's it. And this piece has only 100 notes. And the strange thing is that piece of solo clarinet, and I have 11 notes. In each 11 notes is finished, the music will be played in a different tempo. But 9 different tempos. So that makes it 9. And then you hear the final note, which is very different from the rest of it. So that makes it 100.
Okay, so with that note, we have Makoto Yoshida, who is going to play clarinet. introduce the next?
Next week, yeah. So that was I'm sure you were counting. So you can see the character, strange thing that there's a different register and a different tempo. It has a very strange character. The high is a very, if I may say so, quite irritating, it's quite trustworthy like sound, and then when it's winding down, it's quite rich and deep and sound. So I wanted all of that, not going from the gradation from one to the other, but going jumping like this 9 times in a good 11 notes, and then going to the last notes in 1 minute. Anyway, the next piece I wrote when I was quite young, was in university, I think. But with these pieces, luckily, it's been performed quite a lot, so I have no idea who's playing what. Sometimes people send me their own recordings and so on. And this is actually the Hosoi-san, who's a great cellist. I only met him now, because I only thought of him because he sent me the video, selfie of his video, of playing this piece. It was amazing. My God, wow, it's great. And then, so, yeah, I'm sure you can do this.
So here is you, Hosoi.
It's called Eternal Escape. different characters are packed in one. If you could play the expressive part of the piece? For example, one element would be yeah, it's like that. And also another thing is like percussive part, tatato. Yeah, it's like this. This is very uncello-like. And also another thing is that, which is not new or anything, but I like very much, which is harmonics. It's very different from other cello part. So I mean, I'm trying to do is it's a one instrument. So how can I get most out of it, as if it's played by 3 or 4 instruments? Thank you very much.
Okay, it's your turn. Now you know what, can you play another? Oh, okay, yeah.
Because he kindly prepared. I never heard him playing this piece. This is a piece called Sakana, which is, we all know, it means fish. Sakana, fish. It was originally written for saxophone, but I mean, I know you'll be surprised how can this kind of music be popular. I'm sure it's not, but I got a lot of inquiry from many people, can we play it in other instruments and so on. So I decided to make the clarinet version. That there are apparently very difficult to play, he told me today. The ones apparently strange. I mean, one of the very special technique, this is very different, you cannot find in a classical music, which is that I'm asking him to play 2 notes at once. Usually classically you play one and you one note. And there are something called multiphonics, meaning that it's a bit like when you have a cold, you have this kind of voice which have 2 notes at once. But they are often these kind of multiphonics are played used as in a kind of ugly effect. But I wanted to find something very, very beautiful. If you could play the one of it. 最初のところ、最初一つだけ来てくれる? Could you hear the 2 notes? Sorry. Yeah. So it's like this, the combination of such things, which I thought is quite nice to see the fish in a really deep down. Deep down they are sort of moving, and then you can see the reflection of the scale of the fish, which the light is reflecting, and it's very dark. You can't see is there or it's not there. And I also wanted to see, is this fast music? For him it is fast, but then because there's a lot to play. But then also hoping for us that we feel it's a fast, but maybe moving like this, but it's not. So it's quite interesting for me to try to make the one instrument, but to have a linear tempo. Fast but fast and slow. But how can you? Because it's a completely conscious, but with one instrument. I mean, that's what I tried. Anyway. one difficult thing I want to say is that, if you look at the piano, in your home, if you have one, there's a 12 keys in one octave. Do to do with the 12 keys. Every note. I compose this music based on 24 notes in that octave. So that means there's a microphone. There's a between note between C and C sharp. Between C sharp and D, there's another note, and so on. Because in the Western world, it's 12 pitches as one octave, which, by the way, is wrong in the mathematical. Mathematically speaking, it doesn't actually make sense. But anyway, that's 12 pitches. Our ears being, let's say, light to, so therefore, if any other notes of that, they think, oh, that's out of tune. But that's actually educated ear, our educated ear, because of the whatever music you play. Anyway, this one is because of in clarinet, you can actually finger the note which is note between that pitch. So where which you can do something a little different. Let's say
Okay, great. Thank you very much. It was so visual. Okay, now it's time for you to help us. So there are 8 tables. Break up into 8 tables. You can just bring your chair and introduce yourself very quickly and try to figure out, well, how do we make this type of music and this sort of the whole idea much more accessible and understandable to people so that they will appreciate it. That's your job. That's your task. You have about 45 minutes, and we'll come back and we'll ask your report back.